They called her Mama Awa. Wrinkled hands, clouded eyes, slow steps, but her spirit, as strong as the soil she walked on. Every morning, she tuned her radio, a battered, old model from the 1970s. Her husband had bought it just after independence. It had survived coups, droughts, and blackouts. Just like her. One morning, as the city yawned awake, Mama Awa poured her tea and sat by her window. She turned the dial, looking for her favorite station. But instead of music, she caught something strange. It was a quiet channel. No public broadcast. But she'd stumbled upon something hidden, military chatter. At first, it was just noise. But then she heard names, codes, coordinates. Then came the phrase, "The Eagle lands. President Traore, gone. May 15th. She sat frozen. Her hand trembled slightly, not from age, but fear. This wasn't gossip. This wasn't news. This was real. They were planning to kill the president. She had heard this kind of voice before, in the 80s, during a coup. She remembered the silence, the soldiers, the screams. Mama Awa had buried 2 sons. One in the army, one in the streets. She knew what would happen if this plot succeeded. Burkina Faso could fall into chaos again. Another war. Another decade of fear. So she made a decision. She would not let history repeat itself. Mama Awa didn't have a phone. No Twitter. No Facebook. Just a cane and a message. She walked, slowly, painfully, to the district police station. They laughed at her. "Old woman," they said, "go home and rest. You heard a movie." But she didn't stop. She returned the next day. And the next. Finally, a young female officer, barely out of training, asked her to explain. Mama Awa told her everything. The officer didn't fully believe her, until she played back the recording. Yes. She had recorded the message, on an old cassette deck her husband had left behind. The recording made its way up the chain. From the police station to military intelligence. Then, to the palace. Inside President Ibrahim Traore's office, the mood shifted. At first, they thought it was fake. But after analyzing the voices, they found something terrifying. One of the men speaking was a current security official stationed within the presidential guard. The betrayal wasn't coming from enemies. It was coming from inside. Within 24 hours, a covert operation was launched. At a villa just outside the city, agents raided the hideout of the conspirators, foreign operatives, ex-soldiers, and 2 government insiders. Their mission was to strike at the president's convoy on May 15th, disguised as his own protection unit. They had maps, weapons, uniforms, IDs, and they would have succeeded, if not for one old woman and her ancient radio. No headlines mentioned her name. No press conference told her story. But behind the palace gates, President Traore held a private meeting. In the center of the garden, under a mango tree, Mama Awa was brought in. He stood to greet her. Not with fanfare, but with respect. "I do not know what I have done to deserve your protection," he said. She smiled softly. "Not me, son. Your people. I protect them." Mama Awa refused riches. She asked for just one thing. "Build a library in my neighborhood. And name it after the women who fought, not with guns, but with memory." And so he did. In the heart of Ouagadougou, a modest library now stands. The Awa Center for Women's Wisdom. It's a place where young girls learn radio repair, literacy, history, and the power of paying attention. Because Mama Awa didn't save a president. She saved a future. In a world obsessed with youth and noise, sometimes the answers lie in age and silence. Sometimes, it takes a forgotten voice to protect a nation's soul. Mama Awa had no rank, no power, no followers. But she had something even more valuable, a lifetime of listening. And that changed everything. If this story inspired you, give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment. I believe wisdom saves lives. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories from Africa and beyond.